Recording in progress.
Please come to a resting position in your body. Transcend any worries from today and gently close your eyes, bringing up a Buddha smile to your face, to your eyes, to your heart. To feel more tranquility in your body, please take a deep breath in, bringing your shoulders all the way up, and drop your shoulders. Breathing out from your mouth, maybe just do that a couple of times. And please know that if you are like me who likes to change the posture in the middle of the meditation, feel free to do so. Sometimes our body needs some loving kindness to feel comfortable, to remain seated. For now, mindfully you breathe in, mindfully you breathe out. That means you give your full presence to your activity, bodily activity of breathing in and breathing out. Allow this rhythm to be revealed to your awareness. Whenever that happens, your awareness will rediscover this pattern of your breath, but you may as well do some quick body scanning techniques to make sure that you have a comfortable sitting. Please pay attention to your face, your forehead, the top of your head, and the back of your head. Release and relax any tension, any tightness that you may notice. Your shoulders, your neck kind of sitting on your spine, your shoulders at ease, your upper back, mid back, and lower back. Also a straight line and relaxed. Your chest, abdomen, sitting bones, the thigh muscles are relaxed. Your hands and their position is comfortable. Your knees, shin bones, the soles of your feet and your toes relaxed. If you have to scratch your throat, please feel free to do so. Let's do the rain activity, recognizing any tension, any tightness, allowing them to be, investigating if you have to adjust, take action, positive action, and non identifying with any presence of feeling, whether it is pleasant, neutral, or painful. Take a little Dhamma pill, that is patience, to allow equanimity to kick in as our body gets deeply rooted to the ground below. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, physical sensations, and thinking slowly subside. Let us do the breaking down the barriers. And in that process, you will notice your breath become calmer and calmer as your brain begins to rest and stop being active, looking for sense stimulations. And when the brain is thus relaxed, your body naturally will feel tranquility, calmness, and composure, both in the body and mind. Please bring a positive experience you've had in your life to your heart. Feel the warmth of that experience in your heart. Maybe holding a baby in your hands and the baby smiles with you. Allow yourself to feel that feeling. If you are struggling to feel below your neck, maybe your intention to feel is there. That is good enough. Feel this as a loving kindness feeling. Let go of the past, let go of the future. They exist only when you think about them, now. So all we have is this moment now. With that wisdom and relief in mind, we radiate this warm, glowing feeling toward a friend that you respect and visualize them happy, smiling in your mental domain, mind eye. Now bring another spiritual friend and share this warm, glowing, happy feeling of loving kindness. Visualize them smiling and happy. Now bring another spiritual friend. Visualize them smiling and happy. This friend has good intentions, pure intentions toward your well being and happiness. It doesn't matter what they go through now without getting caught in grief or any thoughts of frustration in our heart, in our mind. They are in a safe, happy field. Now, a fourth spiritual friend. Visualize this person smiling and happy, genuinely happy. Now bring family members. If you haven't done that already, add four family members, each smiling and happy, receiving your good intentions and loving kindness. May each person be smiling and happy, be receiving your positivity, loving kindness. May they be well and happy, parents, siblings, spouse, partners. When you are done, please invite neutral people to your heart. The Amazon delivery person, if you have seen this person, the garbage collector, someone who does construction in your neighborhood, someone at the post office, someone at the bank. They don't know you so much, you don't know them so much, but you wish them happiness. May they be well and happy. See them smiling and happy when you remember their faces. And now, whenever you feel ready, we need to do this important work of forgiving things that you can't forget, breaking down the barriers, those difficult individuals, free them from your mind, let go. It is heavy to hold them in your minds. Whatever they did to you, intentionally or unintentionally, however you registered that memory in your mind, imagine them being well and happy, or smiling as well. As many difficult individuals as you have, you may also have caused some suffering, so reverse your perspective to how they felt. And if it gets difficult, let us come back to neutral for individuals and then bring that intention toward difficult individuals again. If you don't have any individuals that are bothering you in your mind, now you are free to radiate loving kindness like a candle, just sitting here, and light of your heart radiate in all directions equally. May all beings in all directions be well and happy. The work of forgiveness can take a lifetime. Please drop it from your heart for now. At least at this moment, you made a wish. May all beings out there, tiny beings, great beings, seen, unseen, near, and far away, visible, invisible, above, below, and across. Those beings in painful realms, those beings in happy realms, those beings in neutral planes of existence. May all beings everywhere be well and happy. Beings that are getting eaten today in the food chain. Feel the softening of your heart. That is compassion, seeing the suffering of other beings. Humans and inhumans, all sentient beings out there, affected by illness, emotional pain, mental suffering, unable to come out of that painful situation. May all beings receive your compassion. As your heart gets that liberated thus, there might be some joy of relief, unconditional joy, joy that has no personal goals, selfish goals, and share that relief of joy with all beings who may not know how to feel it. May all beings across the universe be well, be well, be well, and happy, happy, happy. And that when that joy disappears, there is equanimity, no grief, no suffering, just pure equanimity. May all beings be well and happy. May all their good purposes be fulfilled. May all beings be safe. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be free. You may now come out of your meditation and stretch as you wish. So today, for the discussion part, I have a discourse of the Buddha from Anguttara Nikaya. This is Sokasallaharana Sutta, pulling out the dart of sorrow. I thought someone who is actually dealing with grief was going to join, but I don't see that person yet. I've sent the link. Maybe they will join later or see it later. Uh, so this is there's a little story that I will read. At one time, Venerable Narada was staying at Pataliputta in the Chicken monastery. Now at that time, King Munda's dear and beloved queen Bhadda had just passed away, and since that time the king did not bathe, anoint himself, eat his meals, or apply himself to his work. Day and night he brooded over Queen Bhadda's corpse. Bhadda is the beautiful one, if you remember Pali. Then I think for everyone, every lover, their part, their other person, significant other is beautiful, Bhadda. The king Munda addressed his treasurer, Piyaka. Piyaka is someone who is dear. So, my good Piyaka, please place Queen Bhadda's corpse in an iron case filled with oil. Then close it up with another case so that we can view Queen Bhadda's body even longer. Yes, your majesty, replied Piyaka the treasurer, and he did as the king instructed. Then it occurred to Piyaka, King Munda's dear and beloved Queen Bhadda has passed away. Since then, the king does not bathe, anoint himself, eat his meals, or apply himself to his work. Day and night he broods over Queen Bhadda's corpse. Now, what ascetic or Brahmin might the king pay homage to? Whose teaching could help the king give up sorrow's arrow? Then it occurred to Piyaka, this venerable Narada is staying in the chicken monastery at Pataliputta. He has this good reputation. He is astute, competent, intelligent, learned, a brilliant speaker, eloquent, mature, a perfect one. What if King Munda was to pay homage to Venerable Narada? Hopefully, when he hears Narada's teaching, the king could give up sorrow's arrow. The Piyaka went to the king and said to him, Sir, this Venerable Narada is staying in the chicken monastery at Pataliputta. Hopefully, when you hear his teaching, you could give up sorrow's arrow. Well then, my good Piyaka, let Narada know, for how could one such as I presume to visit an ascetic or Brahmin in my realm without first letting them know? Yes, your Majesty, replied Piyaka the treasurer. He went to Narada, bowed, sat down to one side, and said to him about what is happening. Sir, please teach the king so that when he hears your teachings, he can give up sorrow's arrow. Please, Piyaka, let the king come when he likes. Then Piyaka got up from his seat, bowed, and respectfully circled Venerable Narada, keeping on his right, which is a practice they do in Asia to show respect to shrines. So the left hand is a hand you use to touch dirty stuff, and right hand is usually the hand they use to eat rice. So that's the hand they show toward respect things like shrines, monks, like that. So they circumambulate like that. Sir, the request of an audience with Venerable Narada has been granted. Please, Your Majesty, go at your convenience. Well then, my good Piyaka, harness the finest chariots. Yes, Your Majesty, replied Piyaka the treasurer. He did so, then told the king, Sir, the finest chariots are harnessed. Please, Your Majesty, go at your convenience. Then King Munda approached Venerable Narada at the chicken monastery and paid homage to him. He he went by carriage as far as the terrain allowed, then descended and entered the monastery on foot, and then paid homage to him. Great king, there are 5 things that cannot be had by an ascetic, or Brahmin, or God, or Mara, or Brahma, or by anyone in the world. What 5? That someone liable to old age should not grow old, that someone liable to sickness should not get sick, that someone liable to death should not die, that someone liable to ending should not end, that someone liable to perishing should not perish. An uneducated ordinary person, that is a term they use for someone who has little knowledge in the teachings, has someone liable to old age who grows old, but they don't reflect on the nature of old age. It is not just me who has someone liable to old age who grows old, for all sentient beings have someone liable to old age who grows old, as long as sentient beings come and go, pass away, and are reborn. If I were to sorrow and pine and lament, beating my breast and falling into confusion, just because someone liable to old age grows old, I'd lose my appetite and my body would become ugly. My work wouldn't get done. My enemies would be encouraged and my friends would be dispirited. And so, when someone liable to old age grows old, they sorrow and pine and lament, beating their breast and falling into confusion. This is called an uneducated ordinary person, struck by sorrow's poisoned arrow, who only mortifies themselves. Furthermore, an uneducated ordinary person has someone liable to sickness, death, ending, perishing, but they don't reflect on the nature of perishing. An, un- an educated noble person has someone liable to old age who grows old, so they reflect on nature of old age. It is not just me who has someone liable to old age who grows old, for all sentient beings have someone liable to old age who grows old, and so on. They become sorrowless, free of thorns. The noble disciple only extinguishes themselves, which means their passion, attachments quenched. They say the grief is a measure of your love towards someone, so it's felt in the heart. It's difficult and it takes time for it to disappear. There are the five things, these are the five things that cannot be had by any ascetic or Brahmin or God or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in this world. When he said this, King Munda said to Venerable Narada, Sir, what is the name of this exposition of the teaching? Great King, this exposition is called Pulling Out Sorrow's Arrow, Sokasallaharana Sutta. Indeed, sir, this is the pulling out of sorrow's arrow. Hearing this exposition of the teaching, I have given up sorrow's arrow. The king Munda addressed his treasurer Piyaka. Well then, my good Piyaka, cremate Queen Bhadda's corpse and build a monument. From this day forth, I will bathe, anoint myself, eat my meals, and apply myself to work. So I'm glad he had a relief. I wanted to discuss also briefly about equanimity, which is something that we can radiate from our hearts to beings who may be suffering. And especially when you see two people fighting, you don't have to speak, you just radiate equanimity in that direction. And magically, that fight slowly ends. If you spoke words, maybe they don't hear it that well. But equanimity rooted in loving kindness. You know, equanimity is another flavor of loving kindness. So is compassion and unconditional joy. When you have joy, you feel joy toward other beings. So, what is equanimity? It's actually one way to look at it is totalistic view in your mind, seeing that it's not only you, others also suffer, that they also have their own problems, issues that they face in life. Knowing that kind of switching that view toward ourselves, that we may have caused things without us knowing that they thought misunderstood as things that we did intentionally. So equanimity that way is remaining unaffected, knowing the truth about dependent origination, how suffering arises dependently, how it vanishes also in the same nature. Taking taking things as is, not personally at all. There are three Pali words that I like to use when I describe equanimity. So the first one is sanjanati, knowing a little bit better. And then abhijanati, knowing little bit deeply. And parijanati, knowing completely. Your side, and what happened outside and what happened in others, in their minds, which is a knowing with an awareness of equanimity, not being affected by it. Say, sometimes I know you lead guided meditations and teachings, right? Some people sometimes like it, sometimes they don't like it. And again, what do? We radiate equanimity and remember, bring to the heart that uh, that teaching from the Buddha that Purana netang atula netang ajjatanameva. It's not now. It has been that way in the past too. That there is mitabanim nindanti. Whoever talks little is insulted. Nindanti amitabaninam. Whoever talks a lot also insulted, saying this person talked too much. Nati loke anindito. There is no one in the world who is not insulted, who is free from blame. We can bring that to our heart. People have their own frustrations. They go through difficult days, difficult times. And we don't have to take it personally and react. We just understand our good intention with equanimity and radiate that equanimity toward these beings. That's one way to look at it. We did want to do good, and that is what we intended to do. Sometimes good action, someone may be walking in the rain and there's a live electric wire connected with that rain and somebody falls and you try to help and you are now suffering and also collapsing there. This is an example when you truly intend to help someone, you may also fall into their suffering. So it's hard to know. It's unpredictable. Knowing that also is important for us to bring to attention equanimity and mindfulness and live to the fullest as best as we can. Things do happen in our lives, but this does not mean that we need to live with a negative view, with the wrong perception that life is suffering. And the Buddha never said that. He said there's happiness and highest happiness that you can achieve through development of purity in your mind, which is obvious. We know when we do cultivate a moral self that is very beneficial to oneself and others, that means we keep precepts and we observe them closely. We do know happiness arises naturally in us, that we don't cause suffering to anyone out there. We do intend to live that way, and that is excellent way of living. We know then that we have a strong foundation there with sila, and then we can easily gain collectedness, composure in mind. That is the second pillar. And then there we find equanimity, tranquility, composure, and we give more time for meditation and cultivation, developing further purity in mind. And then with that comes more wisdom, light of wisdom. And those things that gave us pain are no longer bothering us. You look at them like, meh, they don't affect you that much. They were there because you now have a different way of holding them with the complete knowing, full circle awareness of things. This actually, the parijana, the completely knowing, is some knowing that arahants have. The enlightened monks. Arahant means that they have destroyed the core of attachment and the core of aversion and core of delusion. So they are free from those. And for them, the way they see the world is the totalistic view, a view that is how it affects them, how it affects others, and how dependently arising the internal and external experiences, that everything arises that way. And I can elaborate that briefly, that dependent on the I and forms outside, I consciousness arises. Meeting of the three is contact. With contact, we have feelings. What feelings? Pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral feelings. Based on pleasant feelings, we like them. There is craving. We also dislike unpleasant feelings. That is also craving. And we don't care about neutral feeling. That is because we ignore them. That is ignorance, not knowing the truth about their existence, or avoiding pain and pleasure and thinking that neutral experiences in some um, meditation experiences like infinite space, infinite consciousness, nothingness, neither painful nor neither perception nor non-perception. These are attainments that may be felt like experiences of equanimity, and we think that there is escape there to avoid pleasant and painful feeling. If anyone did so, like in the time of the Buddha, Alar Kalama, Uddaka Ramaputta, these were teachers of the ascetic Gautama who was seeking the truth. They taught him that, saying, okay, if you are trying to avoid pleasure and pain, escape into these states in your mind, and that way you can remain neutral. But that he knew, the ascetic Gautama knew, can deteriorate. So there is ignorance, and that is why that is the underlying tendency toward taking neutral feelings as an escape in those days. So awareness into that. So this is how dependently things arise. But one thing arises, and then sound forms arise. They disappear. The um, visual forms disappear when sound forms appear. And all these are appearing and disappearing, each link, seeing their true nature, that they are dependently arising, liberates us from the thinking that this is me doing it. Especially when you are in a deep meditation, you can see things arise and pass away without you doing anything. Knowing that there is equanimity getting settled in your mind, and you remain unaffected the by the things happening inside of your heart, or you just hold them in a different way and you let go. Or outside in the world, you see news that are bothering you and you kind of cut off any wanting to know. That way, also, your mind remains free from such disturbances. I like to read a little poem piece. That way, I can perhaps give a better impression about. Let me see where it is. Yeah, about equanimity. This is a quote by Rilke Rainer Maria, I think a Czech uh, Republic poet. Once the realization is accepted that even between the closest human beings, infinite distances continue, a wonderful living side by side can grow. If they succeed in loving the distance between them, which makes it possible for each to see the other whole against the sky. Sky is really vast, and we can take others as whole. It only takes just a little bit of change of perspective. Do you want me to read that again? Okay, I'm happy to. Once the realization is accepted that even between the closest human beings, infinite distances continue, a wonderful living side by side can grow. If they succeed in loving the distance between them, which makes it possible for each to see the other whole against the sky. This is by Rilke Rainer Maria. Okay, I stop talking. Any questions? It's Anguttara 550, Sokasallaharana Sutta. Yeah. These names sound like a little bit like Ashokan period. Maybe it was added later because it kind of doesn't have the exact same um, vibe of an ancient sutta, right? I had to, yeah, I must say that, yeah, yeah, I felt that way too. Um, Sokasallaharana. I can perhaps send this to you so you can dig deeper to really find out what is this about, you know? Yeah, yeah. Okay. No comments, no questions. Shall we share merits? Okay. May suffering ones be suffering free and fear struck fearless be. May grieving shed all grief and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's teachings and you all. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, have a beautiful rest of your evening. Good night.